Hello. I goofed. I could not find where I had scheduled this live stream, so I just had to schedule a new one. So I hope no one's waiting for me in a different room. I will give it a couple minutes for people. I will give a minute or so for people to find me while I turn things on here. Let me head over to Facebook, see if anybody's on here. Sometimes I'm just not so smart. Apparently, it got deleted or I never pressed go. Not really sure what happened. So let me check one more place to grab people and bring them in. Let me. Hello from Collingwood, Ontario, Canada. Let me come back. Hi, Deb. It's good to see you. So, yes, I am here, and you are here, and we are here together. I'm not sure who else is. I'm not sure what I did wrong. Hi, June. I'm glad you're here. I knew what I was going to talk about, and I just could not find it. Technology, not my friend. So, what are we going to talk about today? I actually have three things to talk about. One could be your machine quilting questions. If you have any, you want to ask them here. I can address those live. The second one is how should I quilt? We, because that's going to be coming out. I have some ideas. And another is taking care of your sewing machine. What I do every time I finish quilting a quilt. I finished quilting a quilt last night and went through some maintenance, so we'll talk about that. And then I have an upcoming, it's kind of a quilt along, it's kind of not. It's just a series of videos. So we'll get talking about that. Let's see, what did I do today? Today was Wednesdays are not my favorite day because of a medication cycle. I'm usually not feeling my best on Wednesdays. But so it was sleeping in and napping but I got my hair cut and it's always great to see my hairdresser. And then I made fajitas, which are a little spicy. So I'll be drinking a lot. My mouth is on fire. You love the wee. I do too. I'm really pleased with it. Um, so I get all of my food from my local farm, which is 2 miles from my house, and I have to pass it to go anywhere. It's probably a mile as the crow flies. And right now I have a lot of peppers, onions, and garlic. So I'm like, what do I do with peppers, onions, and garlic? I make fajita bowls. Living in bowls. And my friend gave me a bowl that has ribbon candy around the rim, which just makes me happy, and I eat out of it every night. So tomorrow will be what is tomorrow? I forget what I'm making tomorrow. I think I'm not cooking tomorrow, but I have an Asian bowls. I have Italian. I love bowls. I get in cooking jags and see what happens. So that's the general life, and let's get to quilting. So I have some pictures to show you what is new, and I have more. Share. Is it not going to let me share? Okay, I am sharing. Google was threatening to crash, so that was fun. So we have here we. And I personally think minimal quilting is going to be great on this because the quilt is really adorable the way it is. But I had other thoughts on quilting. Let me come back and say hi to you. Do you have any thoughts on the quilting of it? Because I do. I always have to think about the quilting when I think about the piecing because I do a machine quilting video for each quilt. Um, let me pull up another picture here. Okay, let me share this with you. And I don't want to say, oh, we're going to put leaves on this, and on the next month, I don't want to say, oh, we're going to put leaves on this, and the next month, we're going to put leaves on this. You see where I'm going? Try to come up with different things. So, one thing, Google, are you going to be nice to me? No, you're not. Please be patient. Google is crashing. Okay, so we have Pigpen. And I like the idea of the cloud that's around Pigpen. And let's talk about what that would look like. So let me stop sharing this. Let me go back to, yes, loop-de-loops. That's exactly what I have in mind. Hello in Kissimmee, Florida. I'm going to complain about being hot up here, but I bet you're hotter. My car was 100 today when I was in it. I don't like that. I'm looking forward to sweater weather and boots and apple cider. Let's see. Deb, you just purchased a pre-loved Sweet 16 and you're excited to use it. Very exciting. I have a Capri here, which is one model after the Sweet 16. I have had a Sweet 16 for many years. And before that, I had the 16. So yeah, you'll do great. And again, you can ask questions. That's what I'm here for. So let's go back. Google is not going to be playing nice today. Let's go back and draw on the quilt. And I just have to wait out Google, who's going to not want me to switch screens at all. I'm just having that technology day. Are you noticing? So I was thinking of taking that a gray thread. I have a top 10 threads that I sell, and it's my top 10 favorite threads. There's a one is called Lamb, and it is cream, gray, and tan, very light. One is Stone. It is gray, olive, and lavender. And those are my light and dark grays. But I think, though, it could read white on here, and I would just like to go all over this quilt. Let's draw here. Are we going to work? Is this just a worthless week? My computers are just, it's all worthless. Everything is working against me today. And I do check this out ahead of time. And there went my pen. So it's not going to let me draw on this. Draw. Nope. Let's try this. Let's see. We're going to call it Bob. Just to get that off the screen. And now will it let me draw? Yes. Much better. Okay, so I can just, this is a little quilt. I can start, put it in sideways in my machine. Now, first off, do not stitch over the buttons because they will snap. So I'm not going to stitch around the snouts or the buttons. And I'm going to start here. And whenever I talk about doing loops, I always talk about going over one and under one and over one and under one. I think I need a nap because technology is just not going to play. Cancel. So draw. I'm going to quit soon. Draw with touch. So I go under one and over one and under one and over one. And that's how I keep my circle. But what I want to do instead is do all of my circles the same way to make that cloud. So this is just kind of scribbling on your quilt. And I want to do that all over the quilt, everywhere that isn't the eyes and the nose. And I think that would be cute. The other thing that loop-de-loop-de-loop looks like is the pig's tail. Does that kind of make sense? So I'm not going to switch back. I'm going to get comments on my phone because my computer is being dumb. So let's come and see if any comments are showing up. Seriously, technology and I are not friends today. Do you ever have a day like that? That's when my husband says, don't touch anything that's mine. Oh, Carol, can I make a brick background? Oh, I like it. I like it. I like it. And Sherry, you are in Fulton, New York. Hi, Teresa. Carol, no, it's too hot for me. And Amelia, welcome from Australia. So let's delete all this and see what a brick background would look like. I love playing with bricks. To me, a brick is 1 by 2 inches, and that's something that will fit in this quilt. So I could come over and do, let's draw, and I'll draw with touch. Like that. But these would be about 1 by 2 inches all the way across. And again, I would avoid the noses and the eyes. Now, what I could do is a 1-inch grid stencil over the whole thing, do it all free motion, or I could come in and do it with a ruler for more accuracy. But on a home machine, I would stitch it, that being the top down to the bottom. On a long arm machine, I would stitch it left to right. So I would start here and then just do row by row by row. What a great idea. I love meeting with you guys. You're so smart. So let me go to the live chat on my phone. I do like that very much. So that gives me some things to do. And maybe I might make those background bricks, maybe in the darker gray. I don't know. But I will play around with it. I love the bricks idea. And I just think this is a really cute quilt. When I designed it and made it, I wasn't feeling very well. I've been struggling since the beginning of July. I've got some stuff going on we're trying to figure out. But I was really not feeling well the day I pieced this, which was the perfect day to piece it because it occupied my mind and made me happy. And once I pieced the body of the pig with the ears and the legs, and before I put the face on, I'm like, oh my word, it's a pig butt. And my husband came running because I screamed, it's a pig butt. And then he needed to know what that was about. But I think instead of putting the nose on here and the eyes, somebody could put a squiggled tail. And I would love to see one of you do that. I did not have the bandwidth to do it that day because I was gritting my teeth and just trying to get through the day. But I think that would be really, really fun. Hi, Amelia. So let's see. Do I have anything else on here? Yes, I do. So that's those are a couple ways I thought of painting. Another thing I thought of doing was like doing a fence, because they're in a farmyard, and then doing some grass like that, and then doing some clouds. So you can really just have all sorts of fun. In which case, what I would do then is just outline my stop sign of a pig and outline his ears and legs. Making those hoofs made me ridiculously happy, by the way. Lamb thread is talking to you, Amelia. I just finished another cone of lamb thread. That's probably the one I go through most. I do have white as well, but the lamb, it's just not white, and it's lovely. So that is my very weird pig quilt, but I'm happy with it. And the bricks, you guys are the best. So that's one thing I had on list for tonight. Another thing on the list for tonight, my computer. Seriously, I need a nap and to not touch technology until tomorrow. Have any of you watched the video on how I machine quilted this cutie quilt? This is named Bowl of Cherries, is the name of the pattern. So, of course, I used apple fabric on it just to make it confusing, because I'll say my cherry quilt, except it has apples on it. And it's apple season. Where I live in the farm 2 miles from me is an orchard. My hairdresser started getting all of her food there since she's been watching me post all of my food online. And so we were talking about what we do with all the apples, and then we get even more and even more and even more. My answer is I make fruit leathers. I just boil up some apples with a tiny little bit of water, and I will put in like a couple old peaches or some berries I had in the freezer from my yard, and put it in my dehydrator and make fruit leathers, which is better to chew on than gummy bears. But man, I like gummy bears. The fun thing about this quilt was I designed it. Let's see, I want to turn off the drawing because there we go. I designed this on July 3rd, 2019. And I know that because the next morning I woke up on the floor under my bed. Now, I do not drink. Just I don't drink. It's just a thing. And I was alone, but I fell out of bed because I'm a toddler and I broke my arm, my collarbone, and I couldn't quilt this for a while. But I made this quilt, named it Bowl of Cherries, just because life is just a bowl of cherries. And then I broke my arm less than my collarbone 24 hours later. So that was really fun. It's like, I was in bed just a minute ago. What am I doing on the floor? I called my pastor's wife, a friend of mine, from the emergency room and told her what was going on. And she said, "Well, Evelyn isn't using her bed rails anymore. We could get them for you." Did I mention she's a friend? And anyone who's friends with me has to be able to give and take abuse. So that was fun. So this one, I wanted to quilt and really do much more simply, since the quilt I'd done before it was very complicated. The floating star quilt. So this was done with I think it's called beige, one of my top 10 threads. And I quilted leaves in here and ribbon candy, and that was it. And it was really fun and really fast. And here's a close-up of the quilting. Now that the inner border and the contrasting black fabrics are 2 inches wide, and 2 inches is just a little bigger than I like to do my ribbon candy. I'm really happy with ribbon candy at 1 inch, so I did use a stencil for this. Do you want a trick on getting rid of pounce marks? Let me come back and say hi to you here. Check out the rest of the comments. Let's see. June, ribbon candy in the border, but of course, the world's most perfect machine quilting design. Use a pipe cleaner for the tail. I thought of that. I also thought of chenille, and I thought of cutting a spiral out of craft tex. Craft tex is paper, but it's fabric, but it's paper, but it's fabric. And that's what I used for the snout. And I used that for the ladybug spots as well in another quilt. But I did think of pipe cleaner. Now, whenever I have a quilt that just has a few markings on, here's just some hints you're getting for showing up. I used blue pounce on here, and it's not the barely blue, it's the blue, but it doesn't suck into the black very much. So I throw it in my dryer. I throw the quilt in my dryer when it's done with a wet towel. Now, I don't wring the towel out. I wet a towel, throw it in the dryer, and then use my wool dryer balls. Amelia, I don't know if those show up in other countries as well, but that's pretty much the rage here in the States, is not using dryer sheets, just wool dryer balls. I know you have a lot of wool in Australia. And then I turn it on for maybe 10 minutes. And between the wet towel and the dryer balls, it smacks the pounce off of a quilt, which is nice. Now, a recent wedding quilt I did was white, and I used blue chalk. And I tend to chalk it darker when I film it, because I want you to see it. And I threw it through a washing machine, and the blue was still there. And that's when I got out my Dawn power scrubber with a sprayer. And I sprayed every one of those feathered wreaths, and I just rubbed it with my fingertips and threw it in the wash again, and it was absolutely fine. So that's my pounce story. If it's white pounce, it'll usually just wear off. So let's see if it's going to let me share now. Please, technology, be nice to me. Apparently, I've had a long day. Let me go back to my pictures. It'll be a second. It's coming. It's thinking about not doing it. There we go. And there's the leaf I have in here. Those were fun to do free motion, just using the size of the block as the size of my leaf. It was nice to do some quilting that I didn't have to think a lot about. And I've already started piecing next month's cutie quilt, which will be out on October 1st. I think October 1st might be a Sunday. Why do I think that? But anyway, if it is, I won't be live. I won't be live chatting with it, so I might put it out on a Monday. Now this, I finished quilting this, and I finished filming it and everything, but it's not up and out yet. So when I get your newsletter out, everything will be live. This is going out to As the Bobbin Turns, and it's a variation on how to do a spiral, and it's using some decorative stitches for your walking foot. I filmed it, gave you hints about how to space it out if you are a little uncertain about that, and how to make sure your needle lands in the center and to keep it continuous and all of that. So that's a fun quilt. And if anyone really likes that pattern, that is from Color Blocks 2021, which is going to be renamed Volume 1. If you have not joined Color Blocks 2021, do so now, because on September 10th, that class is not going to be free any longer. If you're already in it, it'll be free forever. But if you haven't joined yet, there will be a cost. So this pattern is free in that class with a basic spiral in it. And this is going to be the basis, the sample for all of the quilts in this 10-part series. Once all 10 parts are done in As the Bobbin Turns, I will publish it as a separate class for those who are not subscribers, but just want to buy the class. So that'll be out once all 10 lessons are done. If you are a subscriber, definitely be free with the feedback, because you get to see the stuff as I'm making it, and let me know how the class is going for you. Look at that. Isn't that fun? And I love looking through any color block. I remember using that fabric and that fabric and that fabric. Oops. This fabric, this stripe fabric here, actually has a fun story. I got that at my local quilt shop years and years and years ago. And I was going just because it was on clearance. And I was filming for Craftsy, if any of you have taken any of my Craftsy classes, and I had a whole list of things that I should and shouldn't do to prepare for the Craftsy class. And one was to use neutral fabric. So I brought gold lame for my top fabric, and I used this as the backing fabric, because if you look at this, it's one of those fabrics that makes the camera shiver, and gold lame does the same thing. And I brought that out. I brought real fabric too that I was going to quilt on, which was gray with bright colored fabrics on it. But the camera guy and the director were trying to find a way, going, I don't know how this is going to work. We can't film on this. And I started laughing. They're like, oh, that's how this week is going to go. And that is exactly how the week is going to go, because we had fun. Let's see. June, welcome to Facebook. Sorry, my technology is being a bummer. And June, did I talk about using a pipe cleaner for a pig's tail? I think that's a wonderful idea. And June, do you have to rejoin each year? Yes, they're all separate classes. So on the main page of my website, debbiebrownquilts.com, Color Blocks Go Wild is this year's. Color Blocks 2022, Color Blocks 2021. You love the bacon spiral stitch? I do too. It was fun. And I actually haven't photographed my sample yet, because I don't, I stitch a sample for this class on white fabric, but I didn't get it photographed today because I couldn't go up and down the stairs to get a picture of it. Maybe I'll see if my husband's home when the sun's up tomorrow. But I film it on white fabric, but I'm stitching it to show what it looks like on a real quilt too. So I stitch every one twice for you. Sometimes stitching over a big quilt and over piecing takes away from the quilting. So I really just want to show the quilting on it. So that's that. And I am going to stop sharing for a minute, come back to say hi. Oh, let's see. I think the comments closed. The comments stopped working on here. So I'm going to go back to my phone. All technology hates me today, and I won't touch anything that belongs to you. So I want to talk about machine maintenance, because this was really funny as I was setting up for today. So whenever I finish my quilt, I clean my machine, like thoroughly clean it, because have you ever noticed that when you quilt on a sewing machine, it's not really making a quilt, it's making lint, and that quilts are just a byproduct? It's true. So I really want to get all that lint out there and get my machine to last as long as possible. So what I did was I pulled up a copy of my sewing machine manual. And I'm just going to talk to you, give you a few hints of what I do. And it'll take a second to pull it up because technology hates me today. There we go. So this is the care and maintenance of my sewing machine. And I just showed you this one. I have a drop-in bobbin one as well. I mean, a bobbin case one. So I use a machine with a drop-in bobbin. And it says clean the hook area at least once a month. I clean it after I finish quilting a quilt because it's a lot of stitches and a lot of lint. Remove the needle plate, and mine's a push button and pops the needle plate out. Remove the needle bar and presser foot, the needle and presser foot, which I also do. Do not dismantle the machine in any other way. Sorry, I'm getting comments here. Take out the bobbin and the bobbin holder. Now this bobbin holder is this little disc, and I have to get all the lint out from underneath it. And I need to clean the bobbin holder with a lint brush and clean the feed dogs, the auto thread cutter device with the lint brush, and clean the hook and race with a soft cloth. I do one thing that they don't say to do, but I have a micro vacuum and I suck the lint out of it. Yeah, I do all of this, but I also suck the lint out of it just to get it out. I get a lot. Did I mention I get a lot of lint in there? So insert the bobbin holder, and put the plate back. Attach the needle plate, presser foot, and needle. I do not attach the needle. I wait until I'm going to make my next quilt to see what needle I need. I change my needle based on what thread I use. And if you watch my videos, you see I pretty much use 50 weight cotton, so I can guarantee, I can take a good guess at what needle's coming next. Now, this was the funny part. It talks about cleaning the up, because that's all I wanted to show you tonight. No, it says talking about the inside of the thread guide. So now I have to take this to my sewing machine and do it because I've never done this. Have you ever gone to your sewing machine and quilted and to go clean it and read the manual and said, wow, I didn't know that, like things we should know. So I'm going to go try this and clean the inside of the thread guide. It looks like it has, there's a brush underneath. I can't even imagine how much lint is on there. So I will be looking into that. Did not know it even came out. But that is how I clean my machine between each quilting. Let me see if there's any more comments here. Do you do that? Do you do a regular maintenance on your machine? I also put away everything I used. If I changed my foot, if I had threads out, if I had marking tools out. So my sewing room is a hot mess, but I do clean my quilting area so that it's fresh for the next quilt and I don't end up with too many things stacked around me because I need to have room, for a beverage to sit there and my phone and my headset and things like that. So that's what I do between every quilt, and that keeps my machine running. Let's see, the last thing I want to show you is I want to talk about what I'm going to be doing starting in the middle of September. I'm going to be away, but I'm not sure how long. I have some family stuff going on. So I've pre-filmed some content that'll go out Wednesday nights over this platform. I may or may not be live chatting with you. I'm not sure what demands will be made on my time. So let me come back here. Please, Google, be nice to me this one last time. Switch over, please. Come on, Google. There we go. So this is the quilt that I made, and it takes 2 packs of charm squares. In your newsletter, I will put my charm squares on sale. And I will give you instructions on how to get the free pattern for making this quilt. Now, not hard. This is 2 packs of charm squares and some fabric in between. I call this ABC 123. I don't think I put out the picture, the logo yet, but it's ABC 123. And the reason I did that is because in this black area on this quilt, I have a line of stencils called ABC stencils, and it's a lineable block collection. It means there's a block that you can just line it up and stitch it. And the block is this C curve with a leaf in it. I have a whole bunch of these that I designed, and I'm going to be putting a different design on each quilt. So that's column 1. Column 2, so 1, 2, 3, is you might not like to have this much unquilted area around your motif because, whoever uses the most thread wins. My philosophy of quilting. That's column 2. So ABC 1, 2. And then column 3 is what to quilt in the charm squares. I quilted this with a ruler. I do plan on having 4 quilts made. I hope to have them out every week, but again, I'm going to be away. I have family commitment. There's stuff that I will be busy with. So I will do my best, but the goal is to have it out September 20th, Wednesday, September 20th, and 4 Wednesdays in a row with 4 different quilts. Like I said, it's not exactly a quilt along, because I'm going to give you 4 times 3, 12 different patterns that they'll have 4 choices for your panel, 4 choices for your background quilting, and 4 choices for your charm squares. And you can pick from quilt 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just mix and match. I want to fill your toolbox with different skills, so whenever you see a quilt, you're like, oh, I know what I can do there. Let me see comments. Comments aren't coming through on my phone anymore because technology hates me. So I'm not going to switch back because that's just tempting the Google too much, and my computer will crash. So I have 2 different cutie quilts that I have stitched over the last 2 months on YouTube. And this is Jack's Star, which is going to baby Jack, a coming member of our family. And then this one is sitting right next to me. This is Bowl of Cherries. I have kits available for these that include the pattern, the background fabric, the cutie pack. A cutie pack is 16 fat eighths, so it's 2 yards of fabric. So this is Cosmo Urban Mist, and this is Apple Gala fabrics from, I think, Canvas Studios. Gorgeous stuff. And I hope, so if you need a quick quilt, these are fun and quick to piece. I have a lifetime supply of fabric, but sometimes I want something new. So I like having the fat eighth packs because they're pretty inexpensive. I can get a little bit of fabric and it makes my heart happy. And then I'll get back to my bigger projects. So just want to let you know those are available. And I think that's all I have. So I'll come back to you. Thank you, computer, for being so nice to me and letting me work the little bit you did. That's not what I want. I'm trying to see your comments. Okay, I don't see any more comments. So I just wanted to say thanks for coming along. Look for your newsletter. If you haven't subscribed to a newsletter yet, I haven't sent it yet for the week. Go to debbiebrownquilts.com, scroll, and sign up for the emails. Whenever I do newsletters, I will tell you everything is live. So like the pattern for We is already out. You can get that in the Color Blocks 2023, the Color Blocks Go Wild. The spiral quilting has not been uploaded yet, but once everything is uploaded and the free pattern and all of that, I will give instructions on how to find all of that. And my goal is to send you 1 email a week. Now, reality happens. Hurricanes hit. I might get sick anyway, but my goal is 1 a week, and we'll tell you where to find all the new cool stuff. So look forward to your newsletter, and you'll know everything as it comes out. So thanks for quilting along with me. And if anyone has a better word than quilt along for that ABC 1, 2, 3, I wanted to name it Pick a Pattern, but the initials for that I didn't like very much. So I did ABC 1, 2, 3, but it's not really a quilt along. It's here's a bunch of information, make your own quilt. But let me know. Just message me. I'm pretty easy to find at Debbie Brown Quilts. You can click message me through there. You can also get through me on any social media as @Debbie Brown Quilts. I will see you next week. Happy quilting, everyone.